Regions and cultural differences. There are many different ways to separate the United States into different regions. The ways that we are going to look at are geographically, by density, politically, and by religion. The first way to separate different regions is geographically. This just means where the region is located on the map. As you can see, there are 4 main regions: West, Midwest, Northeast, and South. Within each region are subregions. For example, if you are looking at the South, you will see that Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Louisiana are classified as West South Central, while Kentucky, Tennessee, Mississippi, and Alabama are classified as East South Central. All of these states are a part of the Southern region, but are in different subregions. These regions are drawn by the U.S. Census. The next way to separate regions is by density. Density is the number of people that live in an area. The red areas on the map are where there are 5,000 or more people per square mile. These are major cities. As you can see, most of these occur in the northeast and along the coast. The south and northeast have the majority of the population because the map is mostly yellow with spots of red. The west has very few people compared to the other regions, except in California and a few other major cities. When America was first colonized, the colonists relied on waterways to transport and receive goods. This is why areas on the coast and along major rivers have a larger density than those in the west. This next map is a political map, describing how states voted in the 1996, 2000, 2004, and 2008 elections. The dark red states voted Republican in all 4 elections, and the light red states voted Republican in 3 of the 4 elections. These states mainly reside in the South and parts of the Midwest and the West. The light blue states voted Democrat in 3 of the 4 elections, and the dark blue states voted Democrat in all 4 of the elections. These states are mainly located in the Northwest, the Far West, and the upper part of the Midwest. The 3 purple states voted Republican twice and Democrat twice. Even though it would seem that the Republican candidates would win every election, remember that each state has a different number of electoral votes, which are based on population. The regions that are mainly Republican are also states that have the lowest population, as you saw on the density map. The fourth way to separate regions is by religion. This map shows what the major church body is in each county of the United States. The South is predominantly Baptist, which is colored red on this map, and is given the name the Bible Belt. The next predominant church is the Catholic Church. The Northeast is almost completely Catholic, as is the West, except for the area around Utah, which is the Church of Latter-day Saints. The upper Midwest seems to be mostly Lutheran. Christian, Mennonite, and Reformed church bodies are also in a few counties, but they are spread out around the country. Religion can also play a part in politics. For example, Baptists commonly vote Republican. The political map showed that the South had voted Republican in most of the last 4 elections, and this map shows that the South is predominantly Baptist. Now let's look at how regions affect the culture of those regions. Culture is a set of rules that guide behavior. This includes a society's beliefs, history, language, moral principles, and skills. Let's look at some vocabulary dealing with culture. A value is a collection of what is considered good, desirable, and proper in culture. Norms are the guidelines people follow in relation with one another. Norms are divided into 2 categories. Folkways are everyday habits that people obey without giving much thought. An example would be replying to an invitation. Mores are norms that have more powerful significance attached to them. An example would be stealing. Symbols are commonly understood gestures, words, sounds, or objects that have come to stand for something else. This can be languages or nonverbal signs that communicate across languages. Knowledge attempts to define what exists or the reality of the world. Lastly, beliefs are theories and ideas about the nature of the physical and social world. Not all beliefs can be proven. A society has to enforce norms with laws and sanctions. Laws are written rules of conduct that are enacted and enforced by governments. They may formalize folkways, for instance, no littering, or can relate to major mores. For example, there's a law that says you are not allowed to steal. Sanctions are rewards or punishments. These can be formal or informal. Informal sanctions are given by individuals or groups. An example would be a workplace rewarding an employee with Employee of the Week. A negative example would be being grounded by a parent. Formal sanctions are given by an organization, like the government or a school. A negative example is a fine for littering, and a positive example is a medal for athletic performance at a school. Some aspects of culture affect the entire United States. For instance, federal law applies in the South as it does in the Northeast. However, some aspects vary region by region. For example, some regions talk with an accent where others do not. Also, some regions use different words to describe the same thing than other regions. One example of this is that some regions call a soda, soda, and others call it pop, and still others would say Coke. Whether you know it or not, culture plays a major role in your life. And where you live also defines different things about your culture.